All right, everybody. Welcome in to the John Melvin University Coaches Show. I'm Evan Geiger, and with me, the special guest today is the head softball coach, Coach Amber LeBlanc. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming on kind of last minute. But can you just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself to start?
I come across as a strong person. People identify me kind of like a turtle. I'm hard on the outside and soft on the inside, but I'm dedicated to the sport and also my players.
Yeah, you're a little more maybe blunt, I think is the word that I would use in the time that I've got to know you so far.
Yes, I also have that facial expression that some people just take the wrong way.
Yep. I know what you mean. So what was your background in softball like before you came to John Melvin University?
Well, I was the assistant coach at Laurelville High School. I coached travel ball for about 15 years, and I was also the head coach at Erath High School as well.
You were a player, though, before that, right?
Yes, absolutely. But I had a knee injury, and I learned a lot on the bench as well. I didn't give up, though.
That's how it happens.
That's where I learned the most, right there.
What position did you play?
I played second base, shortstop, and I played a little bit of outfield.
You're a catcher. That explains a lot.
Yeah. Those catchers are not so nice.
That's not what I said.
Savannah Hunt.
So how have your connections to high school and travel softball helped you build this softball program from the ground up?
Oh, wow is all I have to say. That was a task itself. My first year coming to John Melvin University when I accepted the job, it took me about 2 weeks to say yes. I didn't want to leave where I was to go back. To make a long story short, I left Laurelville High School for the head coach job at Erath, and that was hard.
Yeah.
Going into a small town with a lot of politics, not knowing what I'm going to get into, building a team that they didn't even know what a sacrifice bunt was, and I was like, oh boy. But it did help me a lot because I took a lot of my girls from my travel organization, USA 36, which that's where you find me a lot on the weekends. But that's where I actually recruited a lot from, and also, I mean, all the way from 9.5 miles, 9.5 hours away from here, 6 miles from Mexico, I took a trip for a signing. So, dedicated or not, that's
Is
where
that
it
Kayla?
was.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Kayla Mendoza, which is our shortstop.
She's from McAllen, I believe. That's all the way by the border.
Yeah, I found out what the border was real quick.
So you mentioned a lot of the girls that you coached before were on your travel teams. What is it, roughly half or so?
I have about five.
Five?
One that doesn't play right now because of a knee injury. But yeah, about five. Only three returners from last year.
Yeah.
But the rest came, and we had 10 last year and 21 this year. So
Wow, yeah.
yeah, we hit the ground recruiting pretty well.
So you talked about recruiting. What are some traits that you look for in a player when recruiting?
Oh God, I get that question a lot, and I get that a lot from players, and it's never position-wise. It's also heart and hard workers. Good work ethic is something that you have to have in order to play college softball.
You can't teach that either. If they don't
You
have the work
cannot
ethic, it
teach
ain't
that.
going to happen.
And, you can't teach hard as well. And, just whenever you recruit somebody, you have to really look them and judge them by the cover of the book, because you're just hoping that they won't quit in the middle of the season or during the fall, or, hoping to take somebody else's place that you should have recruited.
Yeah. So what are your overall thoughts on how this team performed in the fall now that you've played all of your fall games?
It's kind of a culture shock for some of them because, some of them came from a world where they didn't have hard coaching. And I do coach hard, but I do love them after. But I would say that we competed in the fall, and that was my goal. My goal was to compete and learn from it and use everything that we did in the fall to bring into the spring.
Yeah. I mean, so the only game that I've actually got to watch was against Alvin, and y'all fell down early. I think it was like 4-0 in the first inning, but y'all competed, made it close, and both games were very competitive. And I'm like, that's what you want. It's competitive.
I like the fight in this team. I mean, I've had to preach, and I've had to kind of knock them hard to keep pulling the wagon and never to give up, and don't stop till the last pitch or the last out or the last inning till it's over.
So what do you think the strength of this team is? I know you mentioned heart. Is that where you're going to go with this?
The strength on this team, I would say, if they just had a little bit of belief in their teammates and themselves, I would say our bats and our defense are strong. I mean, people count us out before the pitch is even made. I mean, because from last year we only had 10 players, we did not compete as well, but we made it through the season. And this year, people are still counting us out.
Yeah.
But I think the hitting, and if the defense and the hitting's on, we'll win games.
So you mentioned the defense and the hitting a strong point. What do you think the team needs to improve upon the most to be competitive?
I think we haven't became one yet. Whenever you're in the fall, that's your gelling time and your trusting time. And once it clicks and once they become one, I think they'll be fine. Like I said, they just don't trust each other, and they don't trust the players or me yet. You know, it just takes that relationship and that bonding to become one.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, when I was at Alvin, their baseball team would bring in about 70 guys for the fall, and they would cut it down to 35. So it's kind of hard, I feel like, to gel in the fall. And then when spring comes, middle of the season, all the road trips, I mean,
It
you're
kind
just
of
going to
gives
hit
you a
it.
rough draft on where you're going to be for the spring.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So what are your expectations for the spring? And, I mean, this is going to be Jamie's first ever full season of softball.
My expectations for the spring, I was once told by a wise man, is having that mindset and competing. If we compete and we have that mindset, get everybody healthy where they need to be, I think we'll be fine. That's my expectations is to compete.
Yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, it's going to be the first full season. The wins and losses, I would say, in my opinion, maybe you disagree, but I don't think they matter as much. If you lose 4-3, you lose 3-2, you lose 5-4, you're competing in every game. I mean, it doesn't really matter about the wins and losses.
I'm okay with a loss if we play with a lot of heart and we give us our fight. I'm good with a loss.
That's
I'm
a good
good
answer.
with it.
So, who does this team need to maybe step up or have a big performance in order to turn a few of those close losses, like I talked about, into wins?
I mean, we have some big hitters on our team. We hit our first home run. Elena Butte hit it in the LC game. Noble hit it in Pearl River. We had
Savannah
hit
Alvin.
one against Alvin. So if our big hitters hit, the rest are going to follow. You don't have to be a big hitter in order to carry the team, but if those big hitters hit, the rest is going to follow.
So, we talked a little bit about hitting and defense. And we'll circle back to those, but what are your expectations for the pitching this spring?
Oh, I'm big on pitching. I don't care if you throw 45. I don't care if you throw 55. I don't care if you throw 65. If you don't hit spots, you're not going to win games. That's my biggest pet peeve. If you could hit spots and you could throw where Coach Amber tells you to throw, maybe we can win games.
That's funny. So do you think the pitching will be able to do that?
Absolutely. I have the confidence in my pitchers. I just wish they had the confidence in me.
I'm sure you'll get there.
Yeah, I'll get there sooner or later. Sooner or later, they'll say, man, Coach Amber was right.
So what are your expectations for the offense? You talked about the bats and Savannah and Elena. What do you think?
My offense, I have to say that once they gel and become one, like I'm repeating myself from the beginning, our offense is great. I won't say that we do have a little bit of communication weaknesses, but that's something to overcome. That's just a culture shock, having a young team.
You say communication on the offense. What do you mean? Is it base running? What are we talking about?
Yes, definitely picking up signs is something that I think we need, but also knowing where to hit the ball when it's time to hit the ball, or when to do a job, when to hit a ground ball to score a run, things like that. Communication with each other and with me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big thing that people don't understand, and I would lump baseball into this as well. You can lose a game by one run, and you had 3 opportunities where you had a runner at third, one out. All you needed was a fly ball to the outfield. All you needed was a ground ball to the right side, and instead you strike out, you lose.
Correct. And it's the little things. The little things are going to win ball games. It's not going to be the big things.
I think the little things are what take the longest, perhaps, to build in a new program.
Absolutely, absolutely. I kind of banged my head against the wall last year a couple times, but this year I was really excited about, and I'm still excited about, because we have a lot of kids from the kids that don't start that possibly can, that I just wish that they would trust the process and put in the work and actually become a part of our team. And even the ones that are hurt help us win games as well.
Yeah, the morale and
That's correct.
that's all part of it. You see guys in the pros and girls in the pros as well that do it. You tear your shoulder labrum or what something, and then you're in the dugout. I mean, I'm a Jets fan. Aaron Rodgers has been on the sideline at every game teaching our young quarterback.
Absolutely.
It's a big thing.
Absolutely. And those girls that are on the bench or the ones that are hurt can bring something to the table, and I don't think they realize that yet.
They're going to find out.
Yeah, that's where I started.
So we talked about pitching and offense. What are you thinking defensive-wise for this upcoming season?
Defensive-wise, I think we will be fine. Our outfield is great. I mean, we got great arms in the outfield. We got speed. We got everything that we need out there. Our infield has to click. That's where it's going to be. That's going to make us or break us in the fall. I mean, in the spring is once we click.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get there. We're just learning each other right now.
Yeah. So my last question for you is there anyone that you would like to thank for helping you get this season and this program underway?
Oh, absolutely. My family. I would say that before I took over this program, I had to make sure that I had that support system with my family. God and most of all my players that came here that believed in me to get them here and also came here to play for me. And my mentors in the past, the coaching staffs that I've worked under and with, and just I can't thank them enough for getting me where I am today.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I think you did a great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back in. Had a last-second change. We're expecting a different guest who had some kind of delay. So picked out of the crowd, Miss Shayla Lawrence.
Oh, my goodness. Evan.
You're one of the few returners. So you went through last season. And before that, I believe you were at Hines Community College?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your background in softball prior here. I know Hines, but what else?
I mean, I've been playing softball now for 17 years, as long as I can remember. And in high school, I played for my aunt. And so,
That's always fun.
oh, yeah.
Playing for a relative.
Softball always came home with you. It didn't stay on the field. It didn't stay at practice. It came home. And I think that it made me a better player because there was so much more expected of me on the field and off the field. And it all comes back to what Coach Amber tells us where she's here to make us a better human. And learning from a coach like that who wants you to be successful off the field and on the field, it just makes you a better player.
So you talked about Coach Amber. We just talked to her, obviously, if you were watching. I got to ask, this is your second year. You're going into it with Coach Amber. What do you like about her?
Oh, Coach Amby. She pushes us to be the best athletes, females, people we can be. There's so much. Oh my goodness, I can't even pick. Her family, herself, her door's always open. If you need to talk about anything softball related, life related, things you don't want to talk to about anybody else or to anybody else, you can go to her, and she's always going to have open ears.
That's a good thing, I would say, to have as a coach. Because you want to have that trust like she was talking about. And
Exactly.
obviously you're in the second year, whereas a lot of these girls are in their first year, maybe haven't got there yet. It's only the fall. But it's good to hear that somebody's gotten there with her. So I asked her a little bit about her expectations for the season. What are you kind of thinking this year? I know you're biased, but let's hear. Are y'all going to go out in there and win every game? I mean, tell me what you think.
Actually, me and a few of the other girls had this conversation the other day about our team chemistry. And like Coach Amber said, once we click, we're going to be dangerous. And now that our fall's over and we're going to be on the grind even harder than what we were, there's no telling what we can expect to come.
So what do you think the best part of this softball team is? Is it the offense, pitching, defense? What do you think is going to set y'all apart from the pack?
I think it all gels together, honestly, from offense to defense. You know the girls on the field have your back, and you know if you do something wrong in the box, that the person coming up next has your back too. They're going to pick you up, and they're going to pass the bat. And then alongside from offense and defense, the attitudes. You always have someone there in the dugout waiting, telling you, shake it off. There's always another at-bat. There's always another. You can always get it again.
All right, so now I got to ask, since you talked a little bit about the morale and the pick-me-ups, who's the funniest girl on the team?
Oh, let me look. There's a few. Noble's quiet funny. She doesn't even try.
She's like the sneaky funny, like you don't expect it, and then it comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the funniest people.
And then, we got Jocelyn Westfall. She just be loud all the time. Man, we can go down the line. Emma, oh, man. And then one you really wouldn't expect is Riley. Riley's really funny without trying to be funny.
Okay. Some good answers. All right. So I want to ask you, do you have maybe a favorite moment in your career as a JMU softball player?
Oh,
Something that you thought was just the best so far?
Oh, let's see. We had an event this year on our way to a game in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah. We was rolling, and then we stopped, and then we tried to roll again, and it didn't work.
Mm.
And old Coach Joe and Coach Bird and Trevor, they pulled up with the RV. Coach Amber, she said we was going to play that game, and we played that game.
So y'all went to Mississippi in an RV when the bus broke down.
We sure did.
Y'all had a good time.
Oh, it was an eventful day for sure.
And y'all went and played 2 softball games.
2 softball games. We had to push back the times a little bit, so we were thrown off, but Coach Amber made it happen.
Talk about team chemistry building.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so my last question for you, is there anybody that you would like to thank for, helping you become a JMU softball player or just getting to this point?
Getting to this point, honestly, when I was leaving Hines, I thought that I was done playing softball. And I met Coach Amber bringing my little 10-year-old cousin to a youth softball camp. And a coach that has watched me grow up for the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 years was like, you're not done. And it took one conversation with Coach Amber, and it just felt like I knew where my home was going to be. It took an army, my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my grandma, everybody back at home. I think I looked at that paper for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then finally, Coach Emmer never stopped. She always would reach out. She's always going to check on you no matter what. If you're on her team or if you're not, she's just that kind of human. And I want to thank her and my family because I could have been done 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great story. And the decisions can be hard to make, but you're here now.
Oh, yeah.
You glad you made the decision?
I am. This is my final year, and I hope to go out with a bang and make it the best one yet.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you all for watching. And peace, love, and go Millers.
Go Mills. Let's get chopping.